Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Built By. This week, super excited. I've got David Pollard on the podcast, who is the co-founder at LivCo, which is a full-service design, builder, and remodeler based in Chicago. David, thanks so much for joining, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I want to dive in. I always start every podcast with I want to dive in, but you have a really interesting kind of story getting into the industry. You started as an architect, which is a little bit out of the norm for, I guess, a co-founder at a remodeling company. But I'd love to hear how you got into starting LivCo and how that architecture kind of played a role there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the path started when I was very young and I loved houses and I loved drawing houses and I always wanted to be, involved in housing in one way or another. And in like second grade, I was drawing floor plans at school, things like that. Mm-hmm. So I think the path to getting there was becoming an architect. And then I went to architecture school at Virginia Tech. Absolutely loved it. It was definitely reinforced that that's what I wanted to do and what I wanted to, be. Then I think I entered the real world. I moved to Chicago and worked for some firms in Chicago. And I think that vision of that architect designing a house wasn't really so prevalent in large architecture firms. It's a little bit different. Not that I didn't enjoy doing that, but I think my mission in life was always to get back to housing in one way or another. I think I've previously always felt like the way to actually do that was being a home builder or being a developer. Mm-hmm. But I took kind of a backwards path through graduate school, trying to see if technology could maybe allow architects to get more involved in the housing industry in a major way. And through that, I ended up working for a single family housing developer where I met Russ, my now business partner. So he's the director of construction, he was the director of construction there, and I was the director of design. And then we spun off and started LivCo, kind of recognizing an architect and a builder working together could actually be a really valuable thing in our industry. That started with actually doing foreclosure rehab work. There was a lot of single family houses being purchased by institutional buyers. We said, hey, we're sophisticated, we're really good problem solvers, so let's figure out how we can, rehab houses really quickly and efficiently and do them in a quality way. So I don't think that we really set out to necessarily become a remodeling company or, early in my life to say, hey, I want to remodel houses, because I don't think it's usually perceived as, the top tier of the professional world. But as we started getting into it, we realized that it needs professional, players really trying to deliver quality projects in a transparent and trustworthy way. And that there was a need for good design in it as well. So we saw a pretty big opening to be able to do that. And I think it happened somewhat organically, where you start doing projects for yourself and then friends and family. You start to build a portfolio, and then you start to hone your processes. You start to hire people, start to build out a really, chugging along operation that's keeping clients satisfied and building really cool stuff. Yeah, so it takes about 8 years to get there, if we are there yet. But that's kind of the progression in a nutshell.
That's awesome, man. You think about architecture and building a house, designing the house, and it all starts with the foundation. So when you started this company with, I believe you said Russ was your business partner. When you and Russ started, what was your mentality there? How did you kind of envision building the company? I think you're up to 10 people now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that always changes. So one of the differences between building a house and building, a company is time. So I don't think and money, I don't know that we had the luxury to plan out what we wanted to be 8 years ago and be able to, put the money together like Tesla and build out a battery factory without any money to cover it and take on a bunch of debt. We weren't really in the position to do that, nor did we really know, have proof of concept if people were, willing to seek out, premium contracting services and good design. So I think it's our foundation. I think it sounds kind of silly, but looking back, I think it was really valuable. One of the first things we did was get really cool business cards, and we got
Hey,
shirts with our logo on it, right?
yeah,
So,
perfect.
so from a marketing perspective, I think that we were professional people, and we wanted to build the way that we presented ourselves in a sophisticated way. That was our first foundation. With that, I think we did a really good job of building out, overall systems, everything from project folder naming systems to, how we worked. We were able to work remotely and using, cloud servers and things like that. So we kind of had a really good foundation from that standpoint. And then I think we kind of built it as we went, depending on where the market took us.
Right.
Then once we really locked into what we wanted to do and what our kind of highest value or highest and best use, that's when we really set out to build out the plan where you start to set up your revenue goals, what it's going to take manpower wise to achieve that, and really get more sophisticated with the business plan. Probably did that maybe 4 years ago, and that's really the plan that we're executing now.
Interesting. You mentioned in the beginning about building that brand and that identity, and I think that is something when you go to your website, LivCo. It's livco.com is the website?
Actually, livecompanies.com.
Livecompanies.com.
LivCo.com is like a pharmaceutical company or something. So
Gotcha. Livecompanies.com, you go there and you see a very well-designed brand, and it lends itself. You have to be well-designed and you have to look good to the customer from the very first moment they see you, right? So it sounds like that was a big focus for you, was making sure your brand was as, beautifully made as your designs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy in what we do for that to parallel, right? So if I'm talking about I'm going to make your house awesome, but my logo is like, a cartoon hammer, that doesn't really necessarily align, right? So
Right.
yeah, I think it was pretty easy. And then, coming from a design background, I love houses, but I love design. So no matter what, everything that we would look at, it probably makes it take a lot longer because we overthink it. But
Yeah.
making that first logo or coming up with that first business card concept, I think we took the same care with all of those things that we do in designing and building people's houses. So it's easy because it aligns, right?
Right. Interesting. There's probably hundreds of lessons that you've learned just within the time you've been working at Live Companies, but being a co-founder for a very trendy, very successful company, what is a lesson or two do you think that you've learned that you've kind of applied to as you're growing this company?
Oh man, yes, there are there are a lot of lessons. I think if I could do it all over again, I would do more marketing earlier. I think that is, and you're in marketing, so you already know this. But
yeah, of course.
It's one of those things that is just such a big dollar amount and so scary, but really so crucial to being able to grow. And we've never just kind of said, hey, let's hire someone to just give us the whole marketing package. We've kind of done it strategically. So I think it started with brand development, and then that allowed us to budget for a piece that was really our foundational, who we are, and we hired a high-end Chicago design firm to do that, to have them analyze us, just like we asked our clients to let us analyze them. And so we started with that, and then we would kind of build out other pieces from the website to everything else. I think going back, I would like to have done more of that earlier because it takes a little while to reap the rewards of that. So I mean, that's one of my biggest kind of simple tactical lessons.
Yeah.
I think the biggest lesson of being an entrepreneur is you have to really want to do it, because it is a lot. I think when I used to work for bosses and their bosses' bosses, I think I was always probably a little bit critical of what they were doing in certain ways, and I'd feel like I could do it better. And then as soon as you start your own business, you still have the same challenges, but you don't have anybody else to blame except yourself. So that's kind of a hard learned lesson. I think going into it with a business partner was huge. I think it makes it a lot more manageable. I think it's good to kind of share in those successes and those failures to try and get better. So, I mean, those are just a few of the, yes, hundreds for sure.
Yeah, no, those are great. And I want to go back and touch on, you talked about that marketing, and big lesson was investing in marketing early. It's kind of interesting. We were talking the other day about how LivCo, how you've set up your marketing team. So you have 10 employees, and I believe you said it was a reference to a book called Duct Tape Marketing. So you have these, I guess, squads or kind of little councils that you pull different employees into. So you kind of head up the marketing, and it's 3 people from various aspects of that company of LivCo, right?
Yeah, and that was, we could do a separate subject, which is, silver linings of COVID-19. So we had some downtime that happened, between April and June. We were still busy. We kept all of our staff on. We had, government support, but we knew that we were going to have a little bit of downtime from regular production. So we were in the position to say, well, let's use the time to get better. So we created task forces, is what we call them. So we sent out a survey to everyone. I think we had 7 different ones, everything from, design production to charitable giving to sales marketing. So everyone had to rank the 7, 1 through 7, and then we would determine who was on which one. Nobody put sales and marketing as number 1. First of all, it's kind of funny. And the guy who we thought really liked it made it number 7. So sometimes you just have to kind of ask people what they actually enjoy doing. So we started that really to just get better during that time, but we keep our marketing task force or committee going, and we meet every week. It's me and 3 people. The 3 employees, they actually lay out the social media posts for each week, so they individually do it. And then we kind of review those and laugh about how crazy some of them are. And then we talk about other big picture items, like one person's leading the effort to get staff bios, so we can get that onto our website. We talk about website review, just a lot of general things. And then we, set goals, and it's really helped a lot and gotten, a lot off my shoulders. And also, I think it makes our marketing more well-rounded instead of it just be what Dave thinks. It's really the company shapes it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at this team, and it sounds like, with social media posts, and you're probably tracking website visitors and stuff, and you mentioned that you're setting goals. What do you view as success for your marketing team? Is it leads generated? Is it revenue? Is it website hits?
Definitely leads. So leads is a really clear metric for us, because obviously for us to do work, we need leads. Right. Qualified leads is a part of that. I think when the pandemic started, our entire marketing strategy shifted to, I don't know if anybody's going to buy anything, but I want everybody to know about us. So it was, 100% brand awareness. So I am a competitive person. I get really excited about web traffic. I know that it's not 100% quality, but when I pull up Google Analytics and see that web traffic is up 30%, which it has been like month over month over month, makes me really excited that whatever we're doing is at least making people interested. On social media, again, like I'm competitive. I don't know if it means that much, but I want more followers. I'm like, why don't we do really cool stuff? Why isn't everybody following us? Why do I only have 1,500? Why can't I get to 10,000 so when I do a story, they can swipe up and it takes them to a link, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
And I guess that's all just probably self-righteousness and competitiveness, but I think it does speak to just an overall brand awareness strategy, which in our space in remodeling is pretty small. People really focused on that, and in small architecture firms, it's non-existent.
Really?
So, if I were to open up just an architecture firm today, all I would do is just put together a great, marketing foundation, and you could beat everybody, because
Yeah.
that industry is so, for the most part, is really, really cautious. I don't know if it's cautious or just really, they'll always say that, well, I'm based off of referrals. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was looking at the website, and the brand awareness is a huge piece, especially when you're competing with local companies. And if somebody thinks of your name first, that's a win. Not even on that, but also on the when you're hiring side,
Absolutely.
looking good for employees. So that's really awesome, man. Good to track that stuff. I was taking a look at your website, and you have a couple of really interesting things that I've never seen before in terms of content that you give. It's a coloring book, and then you have printable, foldable, modular homes. It's really cool stuff. And what it made me think, what are some of the coolest things that you've done or your team has done that you look back on and you're like, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. We definitely have some intriguing things. So to back up on that a little bit, whenever we or I'm coming up with this stuff, I think back to our core value brainstorming session that we had amongst our employees. And so Russ and I kind of established what we felt our core values were, and we wanted to hear from everybody else what they thought. And I'll never forget Sarah saying quirky. I was like, quirky? What does that mean? She's like, we're a little bit quirky. I'm like, we are a little bit quirky. And I think what we try and do on our brand front is really pretty shiny. And I think what we try and do on more of I don't know what you call it, regular content or live content that comes out every day, is to show a little bit more of our personalities. Right. Which is quirky. Like we do an HBA fundraiser every year with, it's a Kentucky Derby theme, and Christopher works for us, makes this crazy wooden horse head thing that he carves out. It's cool. It's quirky. Not a whole lot of people carve wood into a horse head like So when COVID and the shutdown happened, I think I was at home with my kids and trying to think about, what can I do for them that I would do if I was a kid, or come up with things. So we started the coloring book pages. So we have 3D models of every project we've ever designed. So we convert those to coloring sheets. We already have the content. We just had to convert it to something that was a little bit more usable.
Yeah.
Put them on our website, put them out on social media. All of our clients who we did a project for, we'd send them a coloring sheet of their project. And then that kind of tapered into, when I was a kid, I would make paper houses, because I guess that's what I did when I was a kid. So yeah, we came up with the paper house modular pieces, right, where you can print out the sheet and fold it in and then build it into something kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We did, I don't know if you see any of our YouTube stuff, but we had a Zoom call with 9 of us, so it looked like the Brady Bunch. So turn that into a little awesome Brady Bunch video. What else? What other quirky things? I don't know. You could be on any of our Zoom calls and just see pure quirk. But we try to have a little bit of fun with it, especially during these times. It's just so weird out there, and I think we kind of shifted our message to here to help. So you don't have to pay us, but if you want a coloring book page of something that we've already done, maybe
there you go. Yeah, ushering the next generation of architects.
That's right.
There you go.
Work for it.
Yeah. So, it's funny you mentioned all that. It sounds like an amazing company culture. And I know I was looking back into one of your many awards that you've won. I don't think I see any in the shelves back there, but when you right, you were let's see, was it 40 under 40 or 30 under 30 for professional remodeler?
40 under 40.
40 under 40.
Yeah.
And the main call, everybody gets a quote there, and everybody quotes that you read all the time are like, yeah, just like our sales team did great, or like, our market team was awesome. You really honed in on that aspect of company culture, and it's a lot different there, with such a small team. And just listening to you talk about, some of your team members and some of the things they're doing. it's been a tough year, and I would love to hear kind of how you approached going into COVID, holding together that company culture. Because I think you mentioned the other day you haven't had anyone quit in 8 years, which is blew my mind. So like how are you kind of fostering that and carrying it through, as we kind of trudge forward?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I hope that you didn't just jinx us by saying that in this recording. Yeah, I'm always amazed. I'm always amazed that people hang in there with us because we're a little bit quirky and we're
Right,
always
there you go.
trying to figure it out. Yeah, I mean, I think that we've always had a strong culture, and I feel weird saying that because I feel like it's when you say that you're cool, you're not cool. So I like to think that we don't necessarily outwardly do it. I think at the core of it, everyone who works for us and everyone at LivCo just recognizes that we're good people and we're all just trying to do something good. Is kind of that core. So even like I like to think that they don't really look at Russ and I as bosses, but more agents of LivCo. Like everyone's there working for LivCo, not for me and Russ, and we're just trying to guide it and manage it right with our expertise and the time that we spend trying to learn. So I think that's kind of the core of what I think that people take away from us. I think we try and keep it fun when we can, but it's a tough business to keep it fun in. So yeah, when the shutdown happened, I don't know like if we handled it that well, to be honest, but I don't know how to have handled it well because we honestly didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So, we're trying to give people updates, but the updates are like, we just don't freaking know. Mm-hmm. So I think we were a little bit slow to really figure out, especially with two owners who are left brain and right brain, kind of talking about things in a different way. It was kind of hard to figure out a really good way to address people other than say, hey, let's all get on a Zoom together and just talk about what's going on. And I don't have any answers, but this is what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then with the design team, we just set up, a video call every morning, just so that we could at least connect. We were all set up pretty well already to work remotely, which was helpful. Looking back, production-wise, we didn't lose a step. Like we did really well. We hit all of our deadlines. Some of our clients pushed the pause button, but then moved forward later. We kept everything moving. I think business-wise, we moved along really well. I think culture, I hope that we kept it just because our team kind of recognizes what we're all trying to do and our level of flexibility. But I mean, we're still not back to normal. I'm working from home most of the time. My wife's working from home most of the time. Some people are in the office. Some people are in the office and working from home. But we've really left it to everybody to do what makes the most sense for them. I will tell you the most amazing thing is how much everybody missed the office.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like they really, really want to be in the office, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It reminds me of I'm going to butcher this, but there was a quote I heard one time from a French philosopher, I think back in the day, but he was talking about like if you want to explore the ocean, then don't hire people to build a boat. It was teach them to yearn for the sea, which sounds a lot like what you and Russ have instilled over there at LivCo. Is everybody's striving for the company. No one feels like they're working for anyone.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. Because I think they recognize what we're trying to do is just provide really cool solutions for people that otherwise couldn't really get them. And I think it's very rewarding. Our clientele are just awesome. They're really good people. They respect us. They trust us. We try and give them the same, trust and respect, and it works really well. So it's cool.
That's awesome, man. I think that's all the time we have today. I really appreciate you coming on, David. I like to give you a little plug at the end. You accepted my LinkedIn invite like right away when I sent it. So it sounds like you're willing to connect with other home improvement, home remodeling business owners, architects, marketing, sales professionals. So where should people go if they want to find you or connect or talk to LivCo?
Yeah, well, first of all, I accepted it right away because you wrote in your note, we both went to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Hokies for the life.
It's the Hokies.
Yeah. So, our website is www. I don't know if you still have to say that or not, but livcompanies.com, which is livcompanies.com. We have a pretty good Instagram presence at live_companies. And then we're on Facebook, LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me or reach out. I'm David Pollard with Live Companies. And check out our YouTube too. We have a cool Live Companies YouTube channel. All kinds of fun stuff.
Awesome. I'm going to definitely check out the Brady Bunch video right after this. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Dave. Till next time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.